Thailand launches its 10-year visa program today. More direct flights to Chiang Mai and Phuket, and Burmese spies disguised as Thai monks. All this is coming up in today's program. You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest top stories in Thailand and beyond. My name is Jet Gunther, and in our first story, foreign experts, professionals, eligible high net worth individuals, and retirees can start applying today for Thailand's new 10-year visa. An advisor to the Thai Prime Minister's Chayotid Kridakon says the country has set a target of attracting about 1 million wealthy or talented foreigners over the next 5 years. The new OX visa aims to eliminate the burden on professionals and foreign experts to have to deal with one-year work, retirement, or marriage permits that generally need several trips to government offices, lawyers, and fixed deposits in local banks. The Joint Foreign Chambers of Commerce said the new visa regime will make Thailand an attractive place to work and buy a second home for global citizens. And if done right, the country should be able to reach its 5-year goal of 1 million applicants that will bring in 1 trillion baht in domestic spending. The 10-year visa option will be extended to 4 categories of travelers with an annual income of $80,000 and at least $1 million in assets. It comes with multiple entries permitted and a work permit issued, and covers up to 4 dependents like children or spouses. Companies utilizing these visas won't be required to follow the standard 4 Thai employees per 1 foreigner rule. Korean Air will resume direct flights from Seoul to both Chiang Mai and Phuket this October. Both routes were suspended in March of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The airline's Phuket flights are scheduled to depart from Seoul Incheon Airport 4 days per week on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 5:55 p.m. and land in Phuket at 10 p.m. Phuket to Seoul flights will also depart on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, leaving Phuket at 11:20 p.m. and arriving in Seoul Incheon at 7:55 a.m. the next day. A Boeing 737-800 will serve the Seoul-Chiang Mai route, resuming in October 4 times per week on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. The flight will depart from Seoul Incheon at 5:55 p.m. and land in Chiang Mai at 9:30 p.m. Chiang Mai back to Seoul will depart on 11 p.m. on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, arriving in Seoul at 6:25 a.m. the following day. Tickets are already available to buy through the Korean Air website, with a one-way ticket from Chiang Mai to Seoul on October the 1st costing around 16,000 baht. A one-way ticket from Phuket to Seoul on October 1st is on sale for 15,400 baht. Always check the entry requirements for your final destination before traveling. The Tourism Authority of Thailand says a great way to boost tourism revenue is by hosting Indian weddings. According to Deputy Governor of the TAT, Kridakon, Indian weddings are a multi-billion-dollar industry that Thailand plans to tap into. The TAT says they want to bump up Thailand's tourism revenue for this year up to between 600 and 700 billion baht. That's around 16 to 19 billion US dollars by the end of this year, by targeting high-spending groups like Indian wedding parties and honeymooners. So far this year, between January 1st and August the 28th, Thailand has generated 186 billion baht in total from 4.2 million tourists. That's according to the TAT. So to hit the minimum target revenue of 600 billion baht, Thailand's tourism industry is going to have to generate 414 billion baht in the next 4 months. That's a lot of Indian weddings. Kridakon says the average Indian wedding in Thailand costs between 10 to 30 million baht. They're expensive because they can last up to 1 week, and the costs cover event planning, catering, decorations, transportation, and perhaps dance choreography. Kridakon said that during the past 2 years, many Indian couples have postponed their weddings because they want their reception and honeymoon to take place in Thailand. In June, TAT reported that 300 Indian weddings had been booked in Thailand for 2022, mostly in Phuket. A group of political protesters gathered to perform a skit in Siam Square, Bangkok, as part of an awareness campaign to highlight Thailand's missing activists. The protesters marched towards Siam Square, carrying placards and boards with the names and pictures of missing activists, some of whom were later found dead. Some of the protesters wore photos of the victims around their necks, while others walked with plastic bags over their heads with eye holes cut out as they trudged down Siam Square. Police in uniform were seen watching the proceedings, while some demonstrators noticed plainclothes police taking photographs of the march. Activists staged an abduction performance at the destination. One of the activists placed a black bag over another's head while she was giving a speech. Two others then carried her away while other activists shouted, "Free our friends." Mint, a Thai traditional dancer turned activist who participated in the march, said that the performance signified that anyone could become a victim of enforced disappearance. She made it known that a human rights lawyer, Somchai Nilaphaichit, was abducted in the middle of Bangkok, and added that the fates of most people who disappeared remain unknown. A report by the UN Working Group on Enforced or Involuntary Disappearances in 2020 revealed that 75 people have disappeared in Thailand. The group also reported that since the 2014 military coup, 9 Thai political refugees living in neighboring countries have gone missing. 2 were found dead, and no one knows where the 7 other people are. Alleged spies from the Burmese junta, disguised as Buddhist monks and nuns, were among 54 Burmese people arrested at a 3-story building in Thag province in northern Thailand. On Monday, police and officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Health, Masaw District Administrative Organization, and the Internal Security Operations Command closed in on the building in Masaw District. The raid occurred after the local ISOC office received a request from monks at the Buddhism Bureau of Thag province to investigate the group. The Buddhism Bureau had received a complaint from villagers in the Mae Pa sub-district who were concerned that the group of monks and nuns who had been out collecting alms in the area were not real. The villagers told the Buddhism Bureau that they were suspicious of the monastics because they lived with a big group of people in the building and regularly made loud noises. The officials found a total of 54 Burmese people residing in the building, including 11 monks, 16 nuns, 11 men, 14 women, and 2 children. Matichon News reports that the building used to be a detention center for Burmese illegal immigrants, but was closed down when changes were made to immigration policies in Thailand. No one in the group could provide any form of documentation, so all 54 people were detained and taken to the immigration officer. ISOC's initial investigation reveals that some of the so-called monks and nuns are not real monastics, but are spies from the Burmese junta who snuck into Thailand to investigate anti-junta activities in Masod near the border of Myanmar. Some of the arrested told officials they planned to travel to Bangkok to investigate resistance movements against the Burmese junta. In February last year, democratically elected members of Myanmar's ruling party, the National League for Democracy, were deposed by a coup d'etat led by the Burmese military who took power over the country. Unrest has gripped Myanmar ever since. Pro-democracy, anti-junta protests in Myanmar have been violently squashed by the junta. The New York Times reported that this year that the military was trying to eliminate resistance movements along the country's borders. And that's all for our report from Thailand News Today. The show will be back tomorrow. Meanwhile, stay tuned for our other show, Good Morning Thailand, with Jay, Natty, and Sarah.